Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of RVing in New England, where we continue talking with full-time RVers and how they have had to scramble to find safety in light of this coronavirus. And now we've got a special couple that had a 4,300 run home. And say hello to Ben and Rebecca, who are joining us from Seward, Alaska. Welcome, guys.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good to be here.
So we've talked to people that had to, drive 300 or 400 miles on the East Coast to get into a state that wasn't going to be closed down. Tell us about your 4,300 three-country trip.
Well, I guess we're talking to you from our home, so we are not full-timers.
No,
but when you live months upon end inside a motorhome, that is full-time living. But we were living in Baja California, Mexico, filming our documentary, enjoying life, and things with the coronavirus just started kind of getting worse. They called out for people to shelter in place. So we found a really cool campground on a farm and stayed there for 10 days and, took things in. Things started escalating still, and borders were getting tighter, restrictions, and everything was getting a little worse.
You're still in Mexico now, right?
Yeah, we were still in Mexico.
Okay.
Like 500 plus miles below the border. And we figured, we have a home to go to. Let's get there because this is not going to be over in a week. We could ride it out for a week, 2, maybe 3, no problem at all. But if this is going to be a long-term deal, there's no place like home.
So you planned to get home, and you had to make a detour to, Rebecca, pick up your mom, right, who was also a full-time RVer.
That's right. She retired a couple of years ago and moved into a Class A. So she had been wintering in Arizona and was getting to the point where she couldn't find a place to stay that didn't either cost an arm and a leg or that they couldn't guarantee, safe harbor in the long term.
So you guys said, Mama, come with us, and we'll lead the way.
That's right.
Pretty much.
So it looks like from the video, and by the way, we'll give a link to the video on your YouTube page is what? Outliers Overland.
That's right.
As you can see on your shirt, Ben, Outliers Overland. The videos are absolutely fascinating. And certainly because you have almost 70,000 followers, they must find that it's fascinating as well. But when I saw the video, you dealt with every kind of weather imaginable, from Mexico to snow on the U.S.-Canadian border.
Yeah, we left going kind of in sandals and not wearing your shirt, hanging out on the beach, drinking some beer, to actually it's quite warm in Alaska right now. It's probably about 40 degrees.
But we had a few nights. We had a weather storm where we hit single-digit temperatures during the night and had some precipitation that was the white fluffy kind.
But on a journey that long, you just have to kind of jump into it and look 2-3 days ahead. And there was a period where we needed to push through some snow and one night of bitterly cold weather to get to the other side, which was ironically further north, where the temperatures were more pleasant. And if we would have sat in that one place, we would have been in snow and 10-degree weather for 5 days. Wow. So there are calculated pushes when you're on a journey that long.
Any issues with border crossing from Mexico to U.S. or U.S. into Canada? Were there any issues there?
So Mexico to the United States was incredibly easy. We didn't even experience a secondary inspection, which we are used to doing because we travel in the camper. They usually want to have a look inside. They didn't this time. And then when we got to the U.S.-Canadian border, once they understood we were Alaskans and going home, that is deemed essential travel right now, and all they did was ask that we limit our exposure to other people as much as possible, pay at the gas pump, try only to get gas and maybe some groceries.
Pay at the pump, don't even go into the store.
They asked if we had groceries to last the time that we would be in their country, and we of course
made it
had
all the way home.
stocked up, and gas was the only thing we stopped for.
So the run from the U.S.-Canadian border to the U.S.-Canadian border again, where Alaska meets with Northwest Territories or
Yukon Territory.
Yukon.
How many days was that, and what is there to see during that time?
Oh,
Well, it's
beautiful.
like give or take 2,000, maybe 1,900 miles of nothingness, but in that nothingness, you can find everything that you're looking for as to why we love to travel. Even though we've done the journey 8 times in 4 years now, it is still breathtaking, but it's a lot of emptiness. The southern part of Canada is it's just very Western. You know, you see Kohl's, you see all the retail stores, but you get out of Dawson City, or Dawson Creek, you just start hitting the Alaska Highway and you get to 200-mile stretches of nothingness.
Wow. A lot of amazing natural beauty, mountains, rivers, streams, lakes,
wildlife,
hot springs.
Were you ever afraid that something was going to happen, whether it be a breakdown or whether weather would be an issue, or you get stuck away from home? Was that ever cross your mind?
Well, I think it's something that you always deal with as a traveler.
Every single day.
Every time you turn the engine on, there's the risk of breaking down.
Anything can happen at any time.
And my mom had never done this journey in her rig in the winter-ish weather. And so she was a little nervous as to, ours is really built for winter camping.
Yeah.
And she was definitely nervous as to how hers would handle, especially when we were seeing some, single-digit temperatures. But she has a Tiffin Class A, and that thing performed like a champ, which we knew it would because we owned a Tiffin before this. And
she's also owned that rig. She's done an entire loop around the country and only had one problem, and that was like an EGR issue.
Yeah.
And we've done 45,000 miles in our Fuso without a lick of problems. And in December, we traversed that same road in minus 25 Fahrenheit. So
this was easy compared to that trip.
Okay.
And we did have some trouble. We had we had to do some heater TLC and
change a filter,
and a valve stem went bad on one of mom's tires. A couple things like that. And you just
life
roll
on
with
the road.
You go with it. Right? Not that you have a choice, right?
No, you don't.
You can't be afraid or live in the what ifs or the fears. You'll never go anywhere.
Right, exactly. What are your plans now as far as how long you're going to, I hate to use the term hunker down because everybody's been using that term, but what is your plan for staying put before you head south again?
Well, I don't think we're sure because no one really knows what's going to happen. With any luck, tourism will come back up here this summer. We have a bed and breakfast in our hometown that we typically run in the summertime. So maybe that will open up again and we can run that for the summer. Our intention, as soon as this all breaks up and we can get out of here again, is to ship overseas. That was what we were working towards this year. Was we were planning to ship to Japan with our truck and start our around the world journey. So as soon as things loosen up and we can proceed with that plan, that's the goal.
But in the immediate future, we are going to go through life and try to just make the most of things. Yeah. Whatever the situation may be. Right now, once we're done quarantining, I think we're on day 7 now, we can still go out and camp in Alaska. We can still go out and fish. We can still go out and hunt and do all of our stuff in nature. We are not restricted at all.
And there's you never want for things to do up here in nature. It's,
always
the
something.
possibilities are endless.
Great. Perfect. Hey, we're out of time for this segment, and you've got such an interesting story. I know you've been to 43 countries, and we only had a chance to deal with 3 of them today, but we'd like to ask you to come back and talk to us again because you have a fascinating story.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We'd love to come back.
Great. We've been talking with Ben and Rebecca from Outleirsoverland.com.